In the pages of Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths, Pariah and his Dark Army is waging a massive war against the DC Universe. Today, Damian Wayne and a few of his other friends in the DC Universe are teaming up together in order to fight back and repel those forces from Pariah. But will it be enough to hold the Dark Army back? My name is Araco Braddock, and today, let's go ahead and dive deep into Dark Crisis, The Dark Army, number 1. Before we get deeper into the video, wanted to go ahead and encourage you to consider subscribing to the channel and hitting that like button if you enjoy our content. Without further ado, I want to go ahead and introduce the Dark Crisis, The Dark Army, with the solicitation text that DC wrote out for the landmark issue. As Pariah's Dark Army continues its march around the globe, Damian Wayne thinks he's got an answer as to why Pariah is able to control the most dangerous cosmic villains of the multiverse. And he's taking Red Canary and Dr. Light on the road to see if he's right. Don't miss this thrilling Dark Crisis tie-in with direct connections to the present and future of the DC Universe. And I want to introduce our creative team for Dark Crisis, The Dark Army, because it is massive. This issue is written by a huge team over at DC, including Mark Waid, Delilah Dawson, and Dennis Culver. There's multiple artists, including Freddie E and Jack Herbert. We have colors from Adriano Lucas, letters from Troy Peteri, and covers from Robin artist Gleb Melnikov. And let me go ahead and show off the gorgeous cover for the issue. Here's a look at the cover over from Adventures in Poor Taste. I want to say big thank you to them for posting these previews so quickly. And just enjoy a little bit about this cover. It's really interesting that it was drawn by Melnikov, who worked on the previous Robin series for Damian, written by Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths writer Joshua Williamson, but he's lending a cover for this series, which is appropriate because this title is mostly focused around Damian Wayne. Now, I want to show off some of the preview art here because I think that's kind of an interesting spot for us to, talk about the story at a more high level. Unfortunately, I had a really hard time getting immersed in this comic book, and I think a large portion of that is due to the art. The art is split between Freddie E and Jack Herbert, and it's incredibly noticeable to see who is doing what on the page. This first page, I think, is a great example of some of the issues I have with this series. I really enjoyed how much detail there is on the page and how artist Freddie E is able to lay out so many characters. But my issue with this series comes in with how the anatomy is structured and functioning on a lot of these characters. If you take a look at this page in particular, Beast Boy looks very strange with how his dimensions are kind of fleshed out and the way that his head is like kind of small, but some of his appendages are very large. It's just very kind of noticeable and something that really kind of took me out of the story. And it was something I was fighting with throughout the entire issue, as present from, this page as well. If we take a look at Darkseid with some of Pariah's forces, his hand and arm, does not fit with the rest of the dimensions of his body. And it's just so incredibly noticeable. However, when the issue switches gears and moves over to artist Jack Herbert, a different kind of problem surfaces because the book becomes so serious looking and so different from what Freddie E is trying to do that it almost seems like you're reading two different comic books, which is really a shame because when you're having two different artists, there should be, some sort of in-story reason or way that you're able to really tell these different characters apart. The art in comic books is so important to kind of the end result of the issue because it's you're seeing the art essentially before you see the script of a comic book title. Now, one of the good things about this series, distancing ourselves from the art a little bit, is just how they assemble the team for this story. There's a really interesting group of heroes, including characters like Sideways, Power Girl, Damian Wayne as Robin, Dr. Light, Red Canary. And it's just so great to see some of these, more diverse characters who are, new generational content to the DCU. I'm hoping that maybe some of these characters will make the switch to a new DC Universe film eventually. And I think DC should be doing everything they possibly can to make sure that the next generation of heroes are being bolstered, no matter, who's taking center stage in the comic book. Also, I do need to take a moment and talk about the script. I think the script in this issue is just kind of all over the place. There's so much lore that they're introducing here, where Damian is essentially taking a special team to do battle against the Dark Army. But the problem is that this issue is so incredibly long and has so much lore with so little artistic precision that it's just so difficult to really follow and enjoy this series. I mean, at this point too, we've gotten so many tie-in issues for Dark Crisis. There needs to be something that I would say kind of sets this issue apart, from its contemporaries, with so many titles right now that are available on store shelves. The one thing that I will say about this issue is it does do a good job following up on so many of the plot threads that have been set up on, Infinite Frontier, Justice League Incarnate, and titles like that. So if you were following those books with a razor-tooth comb and you really, really enjoy your plot, you're going to find something in this issue. If you're a massively hardcore DC Comics fan and you're just kind of curious about what this is about, you may find something in here for you as well. But I think the issue in this particular script comes in with the ambition and just not having kind of the forward vision and the execution. On paper, the idea of Damian, taking a war directly to the Dark Army late in the Dark Crisis event is just a fantastic idea. But the problem is that the execution of this, is realized through strange artistic, shifts and really kind of, not airtight plotting. There is some good narration and some good dialogue, but overall, it's just, I think this is an incredibly unfocused title. So I think at the end of the day, those were my opinions on Dark Crisis, the Dark Army #1. I think that there were some good ideas behind this story, and I love some of the intentions. I love the team of characters that were introduced, and, some of the staging and framing of the art. As I said earlier in the video, maybe if you're just more casual DC Comics fan, this might not be the title for you. But if you're deeply invested into every thread of Dark Crisis, there is likely something here for you. So I want to know if you like the title as much as I did. Let me know down in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for coming to check out our review of Dark Crisis, the Dark Army #1. And I'll see you back here for some more wonderful comic book content very soon. Bye.